How do you write empathetic characters? The 2008 film Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, directed by Guillermo del Toro, is a good example of writing techniques that take underdog characters and make them relatable. What makes these characters empathetic is how the film sets up a matrix of key relationships in the story, and then moves these relationships through various turning points and relatable milestones. In Hellboy 2, we see the gang back together, tackling a new elven prince as a villainous threat. Building off the first film, we see the returning friendship between Hellboy and Abe. Both characters make up an odd couple where Abe is the straight man to Hellboy's more rough and tumble character. Meanwhile, Hellboy and Liz are a romantic couple, working out the familiar challenges of sharing the same living space and figuring out how to communicate effectively with each other. And finally, there's Hellboy and his new boss, Johann, where we see a boss and employee relationship that gets off on the wrong foot at first. The Hellboy and Liz relationship is a major emotional arc in the second film, especially when we learn that Liz is pregnant. During the team's battle with tooth fairy creatures in the museum, Abe is able to discern Liz's pregnancy when his hand draws close to her abdomen. This change in life stage for Liz and Hellboy makes them relatable, as starting a new family is a familiar experience for many people. This new information also gives Hellboy a driving force and motivation, as he has a new set of responsibilities to live for. When Liz takes him to the Angel of Death to remove a spear shard, Liz reveals to Hellboy that he's going to be a father. We also can feel the burden on Liz's shoulders as she begged the Angel of Death to spare Hellboy's life. The angel told Liz that Hellboy will doom humanity if he lives, but she still chooses to preserve his life. Our empathy for Liz and Hellboy grows because we see the high stakes involved with the choice she had to make here. With Hellboy and Abe's relationship, we also see some familiar growing pains in their dynamic. Hellboy is tired of having to be unknown to the public through their BPRD exploits, but Abe exercises more caution and reinforces company policy. Abe is the reassuring friend who seeks the best for Hellboy, who often is more short-sighted and impulsive. When Abe later falls in love with the elven princess Nuala, we see Abe and Hellboy getting drunk together and bonding over confessing their emotional struggles with Nuala and Liz, respectively. We see the dynamic of two workplace buddies who get each other in ways that others wouldn't understand. It's this relatable dynamic that makes both characters even more empathetic in this film. Plus, allowing Abe to fall in love for the first time in the series and seeing him work through that with Hellboy's input shows the relationship moving through a meaningful milestone. Finally, Hellboy's relationship with new boss Johann brings a lot of empathetic humor to the story. Hellboy is ticked off by Johann's proper and stately demeanor, and the tension between them brings conflict into their workplace. In one scene, Hellboy accidentally smashes Johann's helmet, sending Johann's smoke form into the ether. Johann inhabits a nearby locker and repeatedly opens and closes small locker doors to fight back against Hellboy, eventually gaining the upper hand. This animosity between a workplace boss and employee generates more empathy for both characters, and we later see them reaching common ground and allying together when a greater threat emerges. Also, Johann is humanized by some backstory information sharing about his lost love and how he lost his bodily form. So overall, these set of character relationships and giving them arcs are the key to creating empathetic characters that we relate to on screen. Hellboy 2: The Golden Army starts with the challenge of presenting us with mostly non-human characters who are our protagonists, but the filmmakers create the groundwork to make them empathetic by showing how they push and pull against each other.